So let's start with a big question, one that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. What is true forgiveness really? Does it mean you have to reconcile? Do you have to let someone back into your life who hurt you? Well, what we're exploring today offers a totally different take, one that might just change how you think about letting things go. And that's where this concept of silent forgiveness comes in. It's right here on the slide. It's not about going back to whatever hurt you. No. It's a conscious choice to leave with your head held high to protect your own mental peace. It reframes the whole thing not as something you do for other people, but as this incredible act of self-preservation. It's about choosing you. All right, so let's get into our first story. This one's called The Rooster's Tale, and it teaches a huge lesson about knowing your worth, especially when the people around you just don't seem to get it. So, picture this. You've got this super diligent rooster. Every single morning, without fail, he crows at dawn, making sure the whole farm gets up and running. But what does he get for it? Not gratitude, that's for sure. All he gets is complaints and insults. And this is where it all changes. The rooster has this moment of clarity, this epiphany. Why am I trying so hard to prove my value to people who are determined not to see it? It's just foolish. So he leaves. And in that quiet, unprotected night that follows, his true value is finally and tragically understood. This really makes you wonder, right? And it's a question for all of us, not just the rooster. Why would you walk away when you know you're important, when you know you're making a contribution? And the answer is so powerful. Him leaving, that wasn't an act of quitting, not at all. It was an act of profound self-respect. It teaches us something huge. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just remove yourself from a situation where you're being taken for granted. Okay, let's move on to our second story, The Turtle's Tale. We're going to build on this idea of self-preservation, but this time we're going to focus on the burdens, the ones we choose to carry for other people. So, the story starts with this beautiful, selfless act. You've got this kind turtle who every single day helps out her friend the frog by carrying him across the river. It's a vital service, and she does it without question. But then, the moment of truth. The situation changes, the river dries up, and suddenly the turtle's help isn't needed anymore. And just like that, the frog is gone. He just leaps away without a single word of thanks for all those years of support. That moment of abandonment, it really makes you stop and think. It forces you to ask a much deeper question. What was the real weight the turtle had been carrying all that time? And the answer is, wow. It's a profound truth. The physical weight of the frog was nothing, literally nothing, compared to the emotional weight of being completely unappreciated. It's such a sharp reminder that the heaviest burdens are the ones you can't see, the ones we carry for people who just don't deserve our energy. Our final fable, The Cat's Tale, gets into maybe the most painful theme of all, that agony of waiting for something or someone that is never ever going to come. This story is all about devotion, unrequited hope. Every day, this loyal, patient cat comes back to the exact same spot, just waiting, hoping for the smallest kindness. A little milk, a gentle touch, from a door that just stays shut. But then one cold night, huddled in alone, it just clicks. The cat has this huge realization. My purpose in life isn't to wait for someone else to make me happy. My purpose is to go out and find happiness for myself. And with that thought, it gets up, turns around, and walks away for good. This story really forces us to look in the mirror, doesn't it? We're always told patience is a virtue. But when does that patience turn into self-destruction? When does hope stop being a virtue and start becoming a cage? And the lesson here, well, it's a tough one, but it's so important. Real strength is about recognizing when a door is permanently closed. To just keep knocking is to waste your life. And in this case, silent forgiveness means forgiving yourself for waiting so long and finally giving yourself permission to find a different door. Okay, so we've heard from the rooster, the turtle, and the cat. 3 really powerful stories. Now let's tie them all together into something clear, something we can actually use in our own lives. Here it is. It's a simple but honestly a profound guide to setting yourself free. First, know your value. Just like the rooster, if you're not appreciated, leave. Second, unburden yourself from ingratitude, like the turtle. Let go of people who don't thank you. And third, respect your own life enough to walk away from closed doors, just like the cat did. And this right here is the ultimate message. This is what it all boils down to. Silent forgiveness, it's not about being weak or giving up. It's an act of quiet, incredible strength. It's the understanding that by choosing your own peace, by walking away with your dignity intact, you never, ever lose. You're simply choosing to win the most important battle there is, the one for your own well.
This kinda hollow echo. So what's really going on here? Well, it turns out the answer is actually pretty simple. It's because we get so laser-focused on the finish line, on the destination, that we completely forget to look at the path we're carving out along the way. We end up missing all the good stuff, the value, the beauty, the real meaning that's happening during the journey itself. And this brings us to a really great story, a timeless one that just perfectly captures this whole feeling, that quiet, nagging dissatisfaction that can show up right at the moment you're supposed to be celebrating a win. So, our story starts with this young man who, on the outside, seemed to have it all figured out. I mean, he was strong, he was courageous, he was successful by pretty much every standard you can think of. But underneath all of that, behind all the praise, he just had this nagging feeling that something really important was missing.
So, looking for some answers, he takes this big question to the wise man in his village. He's hoping to finally understand this crazy paradox. How can winning feel so much like losing?
Now you'd think the wise man would just offer some simple advice, right? Maybe a few comforting words. But no, that's not what happened at all. Instead, he gives the young man a test. And it's a really strange one, a task that seems totally pointless, almost like it was designed just to frustrate him.
Okay, so here's the mission. He has to carry water from a river all the way to an old, distant well to fill it up. Simple enough, right? Well, here's the catch. The only tool he gets is a bucket. And this bucket? It's just full of cracks and holes. And to top it all off, he has to do this every single day for a whole week. I mean, it sounds like a recipe for total failure.
So the young man is confused, for sure, but he's also determined. He starts his daily work, taking on this burden that just feels like an impossible task, like he's being set up to fail from the very beginning.
And every single day, it was the exact same thing. He'd fill that leaky bucket right to the top, he'd struggle all the way down this long, dusty path, and by the time he finally got to the well, you guessed it, the bucket was empty. Every single time.
He did this for 7 straight days. Can you imagine? 7 days of just enduring that same cycle, feeling that sting of failure over and over, literally watching all his hard work just spill out onto the ground right in front of him.
You know, in his mind, the goal was crystal clear. Fill the well. And by that one single metric, he was failing, miserably. He just felt frustrated, totally defeated, and like he'd completely let the wise man down.
But then, the week is finally over. The young man goes back to the wise man, just full of apologies, ready to explain his failure. But the wise man doesn't get angry. He doesn't scold him. He just says one simple thing. Turn around. Look back at the path you walked. And you can imagine he's a little hesitant, right? He's probably thinking, what's there to see? Just a dusty trail marking my failure? But he does what he's told, and what he sees, well, it completely changes everything. So he turns around, and he's fully expecting to see that same old, dry, dusty path that he'd been trudging down every single morning. You know, a perfect symbol of his total failure. But that's not what he saw. Not even close. The path was unrecognizable. Where there had been nothing but dust before, there was now this explosion of life. Green grass and beautiful, colorful flowers blooming all along both sides of the path. Okay, so what's the big lesson here? I mean, what does a leaky bucket have to do with any of us, with our lives? Well, this is where the real wisdom of the story kicks in. It's all about the meaning behind the symbols. So let's break this down. That leaky bucket, that's us. It represents what we think are our flaws, our imperfections, all the things we believe are holding us back. The water spilling out, that's all the effort we think is just going to waste. And the flowers? Ah, the flowers. That's the amazing, unseen positive impact we're having on the world, not in spite of our flaws, but actually because of them. It really all boils down to this incredible idea. Happiness isn't some station you finally arrive at. It's not a destination. It's found in the way you travel, in the beauty you're creating along the journey, a lot of times without even realizing you're doing it. So we're going to leave you with this to think about. What if those things about yourself that you see as cracks, as imperfections, are actually the very things that are nurturing something beautiful in the world? What flowers are you watering without even realizing it?